So I had a very good experience this morning. So I would like to share that and then go to the death thing what I was talking about. Okay, so I was reflecting upon, yesterday Lata question is that supposing somebody thinks of becoming a king, will he become a king? Was her question. But why he doesn't become a king if somebody thinks that he can become a king? And same way my wife had asked, if somebody wants to become rich, why he doesn't become rich? So I had given one kind of answer to Lata and had not answered to my wife. So this morning I had a very nice experience of how to make what you think happen. Whatever you think happen. So first and foremost, the thing is that we think but we don't stay in that thinking. What I mean to say is that you become what you think means that there is a feeling of what at that time you want, but then that is replaced by something else. Let's say I'm thinking to have 1 crore in my account, but then wife comes in the front and that thinking of that 1 crore goes away and replaced by wife. So I become the husband. Then after that I meet a friend, and then I become a friend, and then I become something, and the whole of the day I am not there in that thinking. So there is no sankalpa. So without sankalpa there cannot be any blessing from the consciousness which is behind, because it becomes whatever the mind thinks. So that at present it is thinking of 1 crore, it wants to deliver that 1 crore, but in the meanwhile something else comes up and that is gone, and in its place something occupies. So like in the case of wife, and then my son will come. So the wife is gone and I become a father. Then after I become a father, one of my friend calls, so then I become a friend. Then I become this, I become that, and then, or if I'm working each project I am involved with it, so in each project I become that. So by the end of the day the mind has exhausted itself with so much of becoming this, becoming that, becoming this, becoming that, and it has never stayed in one at all. That means there is one Sanskrit and also in Kannada, I don't know whether it's there in Malayalam or not, that's called Nirantara. So even Bhagavad Gita has that word where Krishna says Nirantara Abhyasa, meaning Nirantara. So there should be no gap between two events. So if there is a gap in the event, that consciousness becomes that, or consciousness makes the mind become that. So if I were to get this 1 crore and suddenly somebody comes in the front and I lose that connection to that 1 crore and I cannot get 1 crore because there is no subsequent thoughts which provides that idea on how should I get 1 crore. It's deflected by something else, so that is gone. So by the time I get into that idea of getting 1 crore, that doesn't have that potency. So this is what we keep on doing, and due to that reason also our spiritual life is also like that. We are compartmentalized. So this 1 hour what we are spending is the only hour we spend, and that too how much we are spending really on that is what one needs to check, because that person might be becoming something or the other while we are discussing, meaning there can be some distraction like somebody calling or some other thing happening, some sound, some other events happening which distract the mind from its object, and this object is whatever it wants. So right now as we discuss Vivekachudamani, so if we become that Vivekachudamani, then the manana automatically happens because there is no distraction. So the consciousness makes it to become what it thinks. So at present I am cleansing the mind. The mind is itself cleansing itself. That's a better way to put. So what is the mind? Mind feels whatever it wants to feel, and it has a perception of what it is feeling. So these are the two things what a mind does. It can feel and it can perceive. So this is there in the buddhi. Perception is there in the buddhi, and the feeling of I did it is there in ahankara, and also it is there in manas. And the chitta is the consciousness which is giving that experience to the manas. So mano, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, or ahankara, chitta, if we were to take four of them, the chit is never seen, but the chitta is the one which gives this experience. So the experiencer, the experience, and the experienced, all the three in what we call as a experience, is nothing but a feeling along with the buddhi, which is intellect, grasping it and saying that this is what was felt. So husband and wife and son and job and everything is felt. So what we do is, what we do in the sense that what the chittas are going to do is to fire exactly according to what the manas has. So whatever it contains, if it contains husband, then the chittas all show husband at that moment, and suddenly somebody else comes and it is identified as brother. So that value in that manas is removed of father, and in its place becomes brother, and that being becomes the brother now. So he feels that he is the brother of this individual. So he forgets literally that it is four elements what he's seeing or she's seeing. They immediately recognize that this is my brother. So not only just a brother, it is my brother, and it is my sister, it is my wife, it is my husband, it is my wife, it is my child, it is this, it is that. So all of this is appearing simultaneously in the chitta, in the manas, in the buddhi, in the ahankara. So all the four arise at the same time and depart at the same time. So we keep on becoming this or that all the waking, sleeping time. So that's the reason in the Vivekachudamani we saw that the waking world is also a dream, because we keep on becoming something or the other, which is what happening in the dream also. There is a dreamer and there is something to be dreamt, and there are objects in the dream. Similarly, in the waker, there is something to be woken up, that is the five senses, and then there is the object which is being experienced by the waker, which is in this case the manas. It feels that it has seen something, it has heard something, it has tasted something, it has touched something, and all that. So if we were to exactly have one single thought, you become that all the time. So if I have Krishna in my thought, I then become the devotee of Krishna, because you become what you think. So in the feeling which is there in the manas, the feeling I feel I am a devotee comes into existence. So the chitta makes that feeling of devotee possible. Now I am devoted, so devotee becomes devoted to Krishna, which is the object of devotion. Then what happens? If that nirantara abhyasa is taken up, one pointedness, just like you take a lens and you take the paper and you put it you keep it to the sun and concentrate on that, meaning make that lens without shaking here and there, getting concentrated on the paper starts burning, even though there is not a matchstick which is lit. The sun is able to shine on the lens and burn that paper, and it was able to burn because of one pointedness. In the same way, if we are able to keep the mind, which is feeler, perceiver, that one, without perception of anything else, without feeling of anything else except for the object of perception and feeling, which is Krishna in this case, and can do a nirantara abhyasa, endless, non-stop, then Krishna appears in the consciousness. Now there is in Yoga Vasishtha, which Lata is reading, so this is the same thing what is being put there. Okay, there are some stories which she was going through, or she has already gone through. So yesterday we were discussing about that. This is how it works. So first thing is that we need to drop everything else for that. Everything else, because 1 second. So if we are able to keep our mind focused on that single object, whatever it can be, nirantara, without having any gap, it works. So if I want to become a king, and if that nirantara abhyasa is there, sooner or later that is going to manifest. If I want to have 1 crore in my account, or 10 crores or 100 crores or whatever that amount, which is a sankalpa, that will happen, and everything will get in place accordingly. It creates that environment. Now this is what recently they have found, and there are a lot of debates on that law of attraction, and people mock also that how it is possible when other things are also possible, this is also possible. The only difference here is that there should be an endless, or rather not endless, gap, without any gap. That one single thought has to be manifested all the time. All the time means all the time. So even if the wife comes in between, or husband comes in between, there is no husband nor the wife. If a son or daughter comes in between, then there is no son nor the wife. If there is office coming in between, there is nothing called as an office or whatever it is. So each one you don't become. If you don't become, then there is no birth of a different condition, because you are supplying the same condition, and supplying the same condition is called samadhi. You exactly supply the same condition. There is no difference in conditions. Even though it is conditioned, but it is the same condition. So when we give the same condition, it starts burning. So the paper burns. When the paper burns, it can burn everything else along with that paper. So if there are other trash, it can burn the other trash. So what you and I or everybody needs to do is to first put the heap of this garbage which we have in one corner, take this good thought, make it as a source of fire, purify the mind of that defilements which is there on that lens by ekagrata, then keep it under the sun, which is the consciousness, and watch in few minutes to few days or whatever, depending upon how extensively the tapas is, it burns. So now if I have Gayatri as that, or if I have Om as that, or if I have the any other root mantra like Yam, Ram, Lam and all of that, if I can be in that all the 24 hours, including deep sleep state, Nirantara, it works. Then whatever the mind wants, consciousness blesses. 1 crore has to come, it will come. Within the end of the day, that 1 crore somebody will deliver. If I want grains, food grains, somebody will deliver. Why it came, how it came, who sent it, that you leave it, but it will deliver. So this is how Krishna consciousness works. So it automatically comes. There is no need for anybody to go anywhere in search of anything. It just comes. So this is the magician consciousness which is doing it. So it becomes what one thinks. Any questions or any discussions? I've spoken continuously for more than 20 plus minutes.
Yeah, it was very good. You said yad bhavam tad bhavati.
Correct.
That means if you have the focus, it will happen. The best example what you gave is that we put this lens, the sun, if you focus it, that lens may be say 2-inch diameter. If you focus, it can create fire. So your thought should be as strong as that, and things will happen. And also you said if you do that, so for your survival, it will automatically happen. Somebody will deliver either money or food grains or what you need require for this your meditation. Meditation means your focus on that spirituality. I think it really resonates very well. Now, when we are in the real world, full time is not possible, because then it is only possible to some extent. And after retirement, this is something like impossible task. By then you are already old. If you don't earn, you will have problem. If you earn, then you cannot do this. How you can do the strike the balance between these two?
No, you don't become anything else in the office. That's the answer to it. You consider it as a bhiksha. So you will have bhavati bhikshan dehi, right? Become that. So you are in that all the time. You are in spirituality all the time, irrespective of the condition.
But what you are doing in the office is really transaction world where company expects you to do that way only. So,
absolutely. See,
yeah.
it is like this. I go
it is like Arjuna war field. We are in this called office field.
Correct.
In office field, what happens unknown to us. But whenever it happens, you have to act.
Yes.
When you act, if you use full spirituality, when you use the full spirituality, I think so many places you have to compromise, I think. That means you are compromising on company's values.
No, it's not like that. Then the Arjuna or the Bhagavad Gita teaching itself becomes false.
See, war field is a dharma yuddha, I agree. But here, maximizing profit, competition, we use that word.
No, that's
But here, in one way, I say it's all collaboration, no competition. But actually, we are working in the competitive world.
No, all the four are going to be there, whether we agree or not. So we are going to have competition, we are going to have compulsion, we are going to have comparison, we are going to have compromise. All the four are going to be there. Whichever way you take it, whether we call it as collaborative or not, it doesn't really matter. Nobody collaborates. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many organizations if they all were to collaborate. So that is not going to happen. So humanity is not going to collaborate in any given way. It is just a term to be used that, oh, we will collaborate. That's never going to happen. competition is truth. It is going to be competitive, it is going to be comparable, it is going to be compromised, and it will be going to be compulsive. You need to do something in this way only.
Correct. Correct.
Whether you call it as religion, politics, or office, or whatever it is compulsion. You will have to agree with that compulsion. Now, what is the way out? How can one lead in this life, in this kind of 4 C's? What is the answer to this? The answer to this is become a beggar inside. Become a vidyarthi. Okay. Now, what you need to do, what you or I or anybody need to do in office or at home, is first to have a sankalpa. What are you wanting from this life? So let's say I mark it as liberation. Clear? So when I mark it as liberation as my milestone, the previous milestone is realization. So there are 2 things. Now what should I realize? I should realize, do I have enough things for myself, or is it insufficient for me? And set that parameter correctly and work on that as a bhiksha. So whoever gives, whether they give praises or they give abuses, they both are filled in bhiksha patra. Now don't eat it mentally. Eat it like you are eating it for your maintenance of your body. So let us say, but in case, let us say ABB after a few years gives me a award saying that you have done so well, or they give me punishment saying that because of you company has suffered so much, the teams which you said you are going to help them, you are not helped, so we are not going to continue your contract. Both are possible. Both are in the bhiksha patra. But as far as I am concerned, I am not reacting to both. Because my goal is realization and liberation. Once I realize that I am doing the same thing again and again and again, and I'm able to see everybody is doing the same thing again and again and again, then that consciousness gives that prajna, knowledge of what reality it is all about. Then I can come out of it and use that same bhiksha and go to a very solitude place where I don't have to interact with anyone and be comfortable for liberation. Now, if my objective here is to realize, not to liberate, then it is fair. I can be working in the organization till my last breath also, but completely realized. There is no attachment to anything at all, because I am collecting the bhiksha only. So every day morning, I am in each meeting, I am sitting like a bhavati bhikshan dehi. So they will give whatever they want, right? So I don't have a choice. From my intellect, from my prajna, whatever comes, I will guide them. Now they might give abuses, saying that like this role your expectation is like this. So they might do a PDA for me and say that you have done very badly and we are going to put you in PIP. Okay, no problem. That is the bhiksha. So in that way I can work in the organization. I will ever be happy. Now, if I keep that motive of keeping it as a bhiksha patra, you will be surprised to know it becomes akshaya patra. I myself is a standing example, because this is exactly what is happening in my life. From the last 8 years, which I thought that I will not be able to earn, I have not a single day I have not earned. Okay, the quantity might be different between what I was earning earlier versus what I am earning now. That is separate.
Yeah, survival is that spirituality. That much you have. Yes.
And see, today nobody has caused me any injury by not giving me food.
That is right.
And even in the remotest of the Himalayas, people have given me shelter. They have given me, they sponsored my flight tickets. They have given me food. They have given me shelter. They have given the vehicle. So isn't it something of a, what I can say, it can be miracle of sorts.
Here also the prarabdha works. See, whatever it happened, it is a mixture of your prarabdha and what you have done now. It's a combination of that.
Good. I wanted to talk
For
about
different people, it will be different, right?
No. I wanted to give you a clarity on prarabdha.
Is it just because of the spirituality of all this, or it's a
No.
combination of prarabdha and what you have done now?
Okay, so now we have to go into what is prarabdha. Prarabdha is the seed. Okay, majority of the prarabdha is what you are as a body, nothing to do with what you are as a mind. So when we say prarabdha karma, you have to lead your prarabdha karma means whatever is there in the seed, the tree what is happening, and the fruits what you are going to get is prarabdha.
No, are you sure? Prarabdha is only on body, nothing on mind?
No, nothing on mind.
Really?
Yes.
My understanding so far was pain and pleasure is because of prarabdha,
No, wait.
you are experiencing that in your mind, not in your body.
If you say
Body is inert.
No. If you say if we agree to the principle that mind also is prarabdha, then you cannot change it, right? Then
that is something called free will. Free will is also given there. So that free will, if I don't use, just I will go through the prarabdha. If I use it, it is possible to change.
Now in prarabdha you can't change anything. If you have something called as prarabdha associated with body and mind, you cannot change it because it is prarabdha.
Correct.
It is starting, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So then you cannot change your mind. Your mindset is going to remain the same, and you know your mindset doesn't remain the same.
It changes, correct.
It changes.
But because of free will, all this happens.
Now what is free will? Free will means where? Where is the will? Will is there in the mind.
Yes.
Mind wills. So if it is prarabdha, there can't be any will also, because that is also inert.
No, our experience shows free will is there. That is experience.
Yes, that experience shows that there is
where it is there, I don't know, but it is somewhere inside.
Okay, now if we say free will is there in consciousness, then it breaks that na karta na bhokta itself, because then the will is good will and bad will, right? So we can't say the Atma and the Paramatma is having that free will or will as such. Why? Because it doesn't have any will to do this or that. It just does. So the consciousness doesn't have the will, but using the consciousness, the mind has the will. So when I say I'm using my will, or when I'm using my discretion, the discretionary ability is there, is called as the buddhi, which we are going to go further after Manomaya Kosha. We are going to come to Vijnanamaya Kosha, where the will exists. You are willing something, to do something. That is part of the buddhi. So that means it is not part of consciousness, and that's the reason Shankaracharya also negates that. He says that na mano buddhi chitta ankara chittane naham. He negates all the four, including chitta.
Correct.
Otherwise he would have said, will is there in the buddhi, so I am the buddhi. No. So when we go to Vijnanamaya Kosha, you will see that that is also conditioned, and hence it doesn't have its own way of living. It is dependent. So prarabdha when we say prarabdha, it is like how the seed is growing into a tree. That you cannot change. If you are a lemon tree, you are going to be lemon tree. If you are a mango tree, you are going to be mango tree. You cannot make that to be a mango tree and this one to be a lemon tree. That is what is meaning of prarabdha. Majority of that is physical. Majority. Minority, I don't want to put a percentage and complicate it. Minority of it is mind. That means you have some mindset which has come from prarabdha, but that is modifiable. That is modifiable, and that's the reason there is sanchita karma and agami karma. That means there is a way to modify it. It can be modified for good or modified for worse. Okay, now where does this prarabdha come in the mind? Prarabdha come in the mind for situations. The situations are coming because of the prarabdha. But what to do with that situation creates sanchita. So if we are using Viveka Jnana, then you can convert that prarabdha into nullification of prarabdha in the mind. So only the physical prarabdha will continue. So let's say I am predisposed to cancer or to heart disease or to some disease or something, or I am short, or I am predisposed to becoming bald. At present I am bald, right? I am predisposed to becoming bald. Okay, the sanchita karma here is that I will keep on thinking that how did I become bald, and I want to have lush hairs, and this is not okay, that is not okay, and I try different methods and all that. So I am becoming a sanchita karma. What I can do is, in the mind I can accept that it doesn't matter whether somebody is bald or somebody is having lush hairs, it doesn't really matter. Then what happens? Mind doesn't have prarabdha, whereas the body continues with the prarabdha. The bald head will not become lush hairs. Not possible. Because that is not there in the seed itself. So the consciousness cannot get something what is not there in the seed. It can only get what is there in the seed. So by purifying the mind, by cleansing the mind of impurities by the mind itself, it can shine, or it can make that consciousness shine on that and cut the prarabdha. So without mind, body cannot come. Next life comes because of the mind, not because of the body. It chooses the body based upon the mind. So now there is no prarabdha. Next prarabdha happening due to sanchita karma. So this is what I can do in the mind. So mind also has prarabdha, but I don't disagree with you, but it is not completely prarabdha. Then there is no free will at all. There is nothing you can do.
Yeah, can you give, understood. Can you give clarification on the sanchita? See, prarabdha I fully understood here. What is sanchita here? How it is acting?
Sanchita is depending on situation, how you are going to react. That is sanchita.
Oh, sanchita, I don't know what I was thinking so far. When I take birth here, I have three things. Sanchita, prarabdha and agami. Agami is yes, whatever is the future happens, so which is going to come. Prarabdha understood, it's working on the body and mind. Sanchita is what I am going to do it now, or it is accumulated one. In that, prarabdha is some part, remaining is sanchita. It will carry over to the next life. That's what I was thinking.
No, it's like this. Let us put it this way. Prarabdha is there till you die.
Yes.
So nothing that can be done. That means the situations are going to come according to prarabdha. Clear? So it doesn't matter whether the sanchita has the prarabdha or not. It will be having. Because the situation of having lot of money or not having money, situation of having children who are intellectually good or they're not intellectually good, they are healthy or not healthy, is all part of prarabdha. You are supposed to undergo that pain or pleasure.
Yes.
That can never be changed. Clear? Okay, now that situation, whether it is pleasurable or painful, what is your reaction to that? Not action, reaction to that is sanchita.
Oh, sanchita is earned here in this life.
And that becomes prarabdha for the next life also. It will produce the fruit here itself. See, along with the prarabdha, you will have the fruit of sanchita also, because that is immediate. If there is a gap,
all our reactions are converted into
sanchita, and it can become itself an agami. So when we say agami, it is no different than the prarabdha and sanchita. Whatever the residue becomes an agami karma. So it all depends on the gap. If there is no gap,
so you are killing all three with this technique.
Yes. If that is the reason Krishna says the only way to remove the karma is nirantara abhyasa. Don't allow the mind to go anywhere else.
Yes.
Then that prarabdha only will remain. That is on the body. So you will have diseases coming and this coming, that coming. That is okay. It doesn't matter, right?
Yes.
So you are letting going of the body and bearing the pain or sorrow or whatever it is, and mentally you are not disturbed.
See, I will give you one case now. A person is having a lot of this tooth pain. Okay, now it's because of prarabdha. If he doesn't go to a doctor, I am sure it will be there for next 1 week.
Correct.
Because of his free will, he is going to a doctor, and doctor either extracts or treats, or he does RCT something.
Correct.
His pain is just vanished after that.
Correct.
So now, is it that I have cut the prarabdha, or how this sanchita, prarabdha, and all that treated here? Because that pain is supposed to come if I don't do anything. Now I have done something.
No, that will be foolishness. See, now the situation has come due to prarabdha.
Yes.
You can react to it or you can act upon it.
Going to doctor is what? Acting, right?
It is action. It is not reaction. Reaction is, why did the tooth pain come?
Yeah.
So then I am going to blame 100 different people or whatever it is, right? Or there are people who keep on blaming the prarabdha. This is my prarabdha karma, I don't know what I did and this, that. So they keep on crying.
Yes.
So they become that. Ultimately the consciousness make them experience that what they are facing, right?
Yeah.
So there is a gap between reaction and an action. So one should not react. One should act with wisdom. Wisdom here is the viveka. See, now you have the chikitsa is there. Body pain, you have to get relief from the body pain, because otherwise your meditation will not take place properly. So don't react to it. You accept, or I have to accept the fact that my tooth is paining, or my tooth has become decayed, or there is a gap in my tooth, not because I wanted it, it is the prarabdha.
Yes.
Whatever action that has to be taken, including removing of that tooth itself, or going for an RCT or something, or a jaw operation, or whatever that needs to be done, just get it done. It is not being done on me, it is being done on the body. So that much of relaxation I have. So the prarabdha is on the body, not on the mind, right? The situation of the body pain, the pain has come on the body where the mind is supposed to tolerate, or it is supposed to do something about it. Now, having understood that you need to rectify it for your own meditative practice, not for anything else, you get it corrected. That what you did as an action, not as a reaction. will not become either a Sanchita karma or an Agami karma. It is just Karya. Because you don't have any expectation out of it. It is like your vehicle, your car. Let us take it that as an example. You have a car because of Prarabdha. Now you are driving and there is a puncture. What will you do? Will you not get it corrected, or will you think that it is my Prarabdha, so let me ride as it is?
So I am using my free will to correct it, that
Yes.
problem.
So you correct it, but don't take it as this is my car. It is a car. So fix the problem and go.
So Sanchita here is if I
Sanchita,
react. If I don't react, there is no Sanchita.
Yes, reaction creates Sanchita karma.
I got it. Great, this one.
Yeah, other two have become silent.
I have taken all these inputs today for my own benefit. I don't know how much benefited others.
Yeah, Lata, you have anything? She will say, I don't have anything. Padma Shri anyway is a completely realized being, so I can't ask her. Yeah, Lata.
What you told is right. See, about why when you want to become rich, why you don't become rich is because you don't have that single pointed thought. You have multiple things running in your mind and it get cancelled each other or something. So if you have a very burning desire for one particular thing, then it will happen.
Yes.
And I have read somewhere, or I think it was some CM's technique. So he said, if you want something, you just sit in one place in the morning, in the nature, and imagine whatever you want in all details. Just stay with it.
Yes, you have to stay with
Every
it.
day. Yeah, and every day you do that, then you will get it. If it is a car, you imagine that car, you're sitting in the car, driving the car, whatever. If it is a house, you imagine the house in all details as much as possible, whichever way you want, then it will happen. So that's what. So that's clear. So whatever, the why we are not able to do is, you are having multiple things in your mind. One time you want this, after some time you want something else, and then something else, and it continues. Even in one day, if you look at your mind, the number of things you want will be numerous actually, not something constant.
Yes.
Meaning one thing. So then you get, the energy get dissipated everywhere. So you don't get anything.
Yes, ultimately you are a beggar.
Correct.
So yeah. So the answer to like what Sri M said, it is you have to stay with it. Nirantara. You shouldn't have a single amount of gap.
Yeah. Same way, if you are also doing the spiritual thing, like you are in that, you are continuously are thinking about Krishna or someone, then also you will whatever the mind thinks, you get that.
Yes.
That is because whatever you are perceiving is actually the mind itself.
Yes, the mind perceives itself. There is no other thing it can perceive.
Correct. That is a big subtle thing.
Yes.
Right, that you feel that something is there out there and you are seeing that object, but actually what is happening is that you are perceiving your own mind. Whatever you are perceiving itself is your mind.
Yes.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever that is at that moment. If I perceive I am a husband, I have already perceived it. It is I become husband.
Yeah, the mind has become that.
Yeah.
And if you think about a car, you have become a car. And the mind has become a car already.
Yes, in the mind the car exists, only the physical manifestation has not happened. So what is the difference between the Brahma Chitta and my Chitta? In the Brahma Chitta, it happens instantaneously. There's no gap.
Right.
In my Chitta, it is impure, so it takes time.
Yeah, so I think if our chittas has all become pure, then whatever we wish will also happen.
And at
Like
that,
Bhatt was asking, right?
yeah,
If you want to earn also, and then we also have to do the spiritual, it will not work. How can we do it together? So if you are in the spiritual and then your mind has become purified, and then things will happen automatically. You
Yes.
don't have to
do
some
anything for
extra
that. You
effort.
don't have to do anything extra.
Yeah, it magically happens. everything.
Yes, that is the magic, right? That is a magician.
And we have heard many stories like the people who are running this orphanages or some old age homes and all. So those people, they may not be having money, so they'll be wondering what to. There's no food today, but somehow they are many places I've heard they somehow say that at that moment somebody will bring something. So there's never a time there is no food available.
Exactly. And to give you another illustration, Lata, is that 2014, I had a deep desire to go and visit the northeastern states. Okay, and have one travel operator whom I can rely upon, and then do something of business. So I didn't know whom to contact, and because of Assam and Meghalaya and all these areas, I had gone when I was working for Indian Army. With Indian Army. It's not for, with Indian Army. So then I was trying to think. Suddenly I got an answer that why don't I check with my Sikkim friend, and he gave a number of a lady who stays in Guwahati. So I started messaging her, and after some time she said, look, there is one person who is very good in this area, but the problem with him is that he expects somebody to be very good in tourism, has good knowledge about tourism, and then only it works. So then I gave him a call. In 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I explained to him what I am doing and how I can help and all that. And he said, why don't you come here? Then I said, look, I'm willing to come, what I should do. He said, no, don't come now. The Assam government is organizing a recce tour, so which I am part of it. So you do one thing, you give your name, I will add it, and then you just have to pay your flight ticket, and we will be going to all the northeastern states. So then we went to this Meghalaya, Assam, and we stayed in all kind of hotels, and nothing was paid except for my flight ticket. I have not paid a single rupee extra, including the vehicle. And then we went and met the government agencies and all that, and there I gave a small presentation on agile in tourism, how that works. So Assam government and Meghalaya, those people were very happy that this is a different concept altogether. And this person of mine, this fellow whom I had not even met, he said, why don't you speak about tourism? Then I spoke about tourism. And knowing nothing about tourism, to be honest, I have not done my MBA in tourism or something in tourism. So it automatically happens. It's not that I did anything to do that. So we had fun.
Yeah, yes. So I think it is not that you simply sit and then things will come. So when you imagine it in it's not that I have tried, but whatever I am thinking, it will be that when you are having that thought, then what actions you have to take will automatically come.
Exactly.
Because
it will become.
Since you, in your instance also, you had that burning desire to go to the northeastern states, and then you are having that desire, then you remembered your Sikkim friend called and all that. So all that will come.
Yes, it will.
So you have to do some actions. It's not you simply sit and it will come.
So the question here is, my wife had asked, if somebody were to sit, and I told no. When you have that burning desire, you automatically, the other thoughts will start to flow in making that thing possible, which is impossible,
Right.
possible. So from impossible, it becomes I am possible.
Yeah, correct. So that actions, what you need to take, it'll pop up.
It'll pop
and
up.
you will do it.
Yeah. So I paid 18,000 rupees two-way flight ticket to go to Guwahati and back. That's the only money I have spent. Other than that, the 5-star hotels where we stayed and so much of fun we had is all paid by the government. It's marvelous, because the entry criteria is that at least 8 years experience in tourism. That's the entry criteria. And all of the people who had come there were having more than 10 years in tourism. I'm the only idiot who doesn't have even 1 year in tourism. So it is impossible to imagine that anything of this can happen.
Yeah. So I think then one more point is it has to, you also yesterday we also discussed, right? There should be it should be there in the bag which you got.
Yes, it should be there also in the bag. Yeah, if you don't
Otherwise
have
you won't get.
otherwise consciousness cannot make that happen. It should be there in the seed. If the seed doesn't have that, either the plant should be able to accept that at this time I cannot become a mango tree, I'm very happy with the lemon tree, let me remain as a lemon tree forever, no further becoming. And what Shankara says or Buddha says, both of them say, is instead of spending this energy on these mundane things, why don't you get into supramundane things and get liberated? The effort what you're putting to make this manifestation happen, if you put the same effort, you will get liberated.
Yeah, you get everything actually.
You get everything. So why are you wasting your time in manifesting something which is so trivial? See, 1 crore, if I get, then what will I do with that 1 crore? Then I'm going to complain that no, I needed that 1 crore at that time, not now. But the nature doesn't know when you want it. It gave you the gift as per what you expected it to be. What it wanted you to give. It's not. It might be to my expectation. It might not at all be to my expectation. So today also, I don't think so we are able to move into the death.
Yeah, correct. So that topic is got
Sidelined. So I think we will take it tomorrow. But now I will at least introduce. So now, yesterday I was saying is that eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body and thought, all of our mind, all of these are death moment by moment. So the moment we say that I am this, the next moment you are dead. You're not that at all. So let us say I am a child, that is dead. Then if I say I'm an infant, that is dead. And then if I say I'm a child, it's dead. If I say I'm a 10-year-old boy, then that is dead. If I'm saying I'm a 15-year-old or 20-year-old teenager, that is dead. Then if I say I'm an adult, that is dead. If I say I am an middle-aged person, that is dead. Then if I say I'm an old-aged person, and that is also dead. The moment I have an identification of whatever sort, instantly there is death. It doesn't take time, but I might not accept, because I will say 10 years is adulthood. We don't know. It can be 10 years, can be 1 year, can be no year also. So the conceptual reality is death. These transactional realities what we have. The actual reality, neither you are born nor you're dead. That's actual. So if I'm moving from one room to another room, the previous room where I was in is dead. I don't exist there. So as an example, if I go on a walk and my wife is at home, neither I am there at home nor I am there on the road, because the amount of breath I have already lost is not the same person who is going to come back home. But the mind says that it is the same person who has come back. It can't be, and it is never going to be. Similarly, the wife who, even though she is at home, she has been breathing. That means the prana is going away. So she can't be the same person. So that every breath is a new life. Every breath gone is a death. A new life, death. A new life and death. So no two breaths are same. Just like I go to a river and I dip. By the time I come out of that dip, the water has moved. So it is not the same water. It is not different water also. Similarly, it is not the same breath, it is not a different breath, but there is birth and death. So at any point in time, none of us are alive as a person. It's just a fabrication of the mind to say that I am alive, I am so and so person. That is false. So what really is deathless is going beyond names and forms, which we can take it tomorrow. So the death here is everything that we supply is death. So let's say I eat, so the hunger is dead because now my stomach is filled up. Then again hunger arrives, though, so the stomach filling is dead. Then again I eat, again that hunger is dead and food is filled up. So the food processing is happening. So the food processing is happening means the food is dead. There is nothing there in the food which was there. That means it came out of the plant and it was sold in the market, and that from the market it came to my home, and from that home it was cooked. So at no point that fruit or vegetable or whatever was in the same state, which is death. And it entered into my body through whatever was prepared, and I have named something. So in my opinion, that name remains the same, which is foolishness. So when I eat it, it is dead. So now if somebody gives me something, I am not hungry, so I can't eat it. Now whatever I have eaten, that food is dead. As far as I know, that is no longer is accessible to me. I can't put my hand into the stomach and try to get back the way it was. So it is dead. What body does, I don't know. Now when again hunger arrives, that means the food is dead. That hunger is dead. The filled up stomach is dead and it is replaced by hunger. So everything is getting replaced in a very meticulous manner. So similarly, the sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, each one of them are arising and dying at the same time. They don't stay for a moment. So whomever I am calling wife, if she moves away from this room, presently she is sitting here, and moves away to another room, that is death. Because I don't access that sight any longer. She is not there in my sight. So that sight goes away, along with that the sound goes away, along with that the touch goes away, and all the other things also goes away. So again she arrives, but she is arriving as a new person, because she is eating, she is breathing, she is doing everything which is new. So that person who went and this person who is coming are two different people. So they are not the same. So we are only in death. We have 1 minute. Otherwise we take it tomorrow.
Tomorrow is fine. Thank you.
It seemed like all are dead now.
No. Fully listening mode.
Okay.
Because the topic is life and death.
Yeah, we are dying and living and listening to you.
Yes. No, even I am also dying and living and dying.
Yeah.
So the mind goes and mind comes out. Yeah, okay. So we'll meet tomorrow.
Sure.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.